Thank you for listening to my needs assessment presentation on child sex trafficking. My name is Rachel Long. In today's presentation, our agenda will include an overview of what is sex trafficking as well as the purpose of this needs assessment. Additional agenda items included are my evaluation process, findings and results, overall themes, recommendations, as well as my reflection on this process as a learner. To understand this needs assessment, you must first have a basic understanding of what is child sex trafficking, as well as how critical this topic is to us as family members, professionals, parents, caretakers, loved ones, advocates, as well as community members. You may ask yourself, does this really happen here in my city or in my town? And is it as prevalent as what people claim? The answer to that is a resounding yes. A juvenile sex trafficking victim is a minor who has been solicited, recruited, or obtained for the purpose of performing commercial sex acts. This is defined as any sexual act that is done in exchange for monetary or non-monetary gain paid directly to the minor or another person. What this means is a child performs a sexual act and in return is either compensated financially or is allowed to live there, be paid clothing, supplies, makeup, cell phones, shoes, etc. Some common warning signs include either signs of physical abuse such as burns, marks, bruises, or cuts. A child who is overly tired and falls asleep in class. Do they have overly sexualized behavior? Are they less appropriately dressed than before? Do they display suddenly expensive clothing, accessories, shoes, phones? Do they have a new tattoo? Do they have expensive clothing? Have they talked recently about an older boyfriend or new friends that with a different lifestyle or potentially gang involved? Some common risk factors also include children who have been victims of abuse, either physical, emotional, or sexual abuse. Do they frequently run away? Do they have poor academic performance, or have they struggled in school, possibly have a learning disability? Do they have involvement in juvenile justice or are dependent or a ward of the court and involved in child welfare? The purpose of this evaluation is to have a more in-depth knowledge of treatment modalities and avenues across residential and outpatient settings within Arizona. My data collection process included identifying 7 agencies that provided both residential as well as outpatient services to survivors of sex trafficking. These organizations were Streetlight, Mingus Mountain Academy, Intermountain Health Centers, Jewish Family Children Services, as well as an organization called Sold No More. Questions were created in 3 categories: an overall agency questions for those that provided outpatient services, as well as questions to those that provided residential services. I had 5 agencies that participated in the interviews, 2 for outpatient services and 3 for residential services. Findings for this needs assessment included commonalities between agencies, trends in outpatient services, trends in residential services, as well as overall findings. Agency findings and commonalities included an increased understanding is needed for system partners and parents that behavior demonstrated by survivors is typically very risky. This could include substance use, anxiety, anger, aggression, depression, frequent AWOLs due to trauma and shame. Additional items that were highlighted is that resiliency is noticed as the greatest strength for survivors, and common challenges included reintegrating and continuing to attend services when the journey of healing becomes very difficult. Trends for outpatient services included that 100% of outpatient agencies interviewed provided services 1 to 2 times weekly. Of those agencies interviewed, 100% also indicated that engagement and follow-through is a struggle, as noted in the previous slide. Frequent modalities also included EMDR, mindfulness, trauma-focused CBT, as well as DBT. Some trends noted for agencies that provide residential care. 3 of those residential programs have been in existence over 10 years, 2 out of the 3 of those for over 20 years. Only 1 of those agencies provide services to sex trafficking victims only. The other 2 agencies provide additional residential services and support to kiddos that have other behavioral health challenges. Of those agencies that provide residential care, 3 of 3 use a strength-based approach when working with clients, and 2 of the 3 provide trauma-focused CBT groups 2 to 3 times each week. In regards to population, primarily females are served between the ages of 13 to 17, and 2 out of the 3 of those facilities. Only 1 has openings that are available to males as well, and that agency also provides additional behavioral health services. For those that obtain treatment, treatment is typically longer than 6 months in duration. From this needs assessment, I came up with 6 goals or action items that are necessary to impact change. These include that all mental health agencies have required training to increase awareness of sex trafficking, including common phrases and warning signs. The second would be trainings completed to generate awareness and potential policy revision with my own agency. I'm currently in a leadership role and believe that we need to add this as a component of our training curriculum. The third is that I continue to advocate on a larger level for awareness and education. The fourth is attend to These include that all mental health agencies have required training to increase my awareness of child sex trafficking. Additionally, I'd like to hang posters in areas where employees will see them completed to generate awareness and potential policy revision within my own agency. I am in a leadership role that participated, as well as provide them a thank you note for their time and efforts. I plan to advocate. As I reflect upon this experience, I feel very fortunate to have worked in this field for a few years and able to have some connections that were able to assist with this project and hooking me up with the right people to talk with to get the information that I needed. In regards to barriers, I did face a couple. I only gathered statewide data. It really would have been beneficial to gather national data. The other piece is that when researching information online, some of the resources that I found were outdated and inaccurate. In this learning process, I feel like I have gained a lot of knowledge in regards to resources, education that is available to not only professionals, but also to families that can be shared. The other piece is it improved my knowledge and really highlighted that within my place of employment that we really need to do a better job on educating our professionals on warning signs and what to look out for.